Now, you know, the Fast and the Furious program was this program that got out of control where we let 2,000 guns basically go across the border and into the hands of the Mexican drug cartel. Everybody's agreed that it was a disastrous program. We were one of the first shows that talked about what a clownish move that was. They were supposed to track them and they didn't. Now, we all agree on that, but apparently Darrell and Issa and the Republicans believe that there is a cover-up of who knew what when about the Fast and the Furious program. And apparently there are conspiracy rumors and theories afoot as to why they're doing this cover-up, why they did the Fast and the Furious program in the first place. So when you talk about lunatic conspiracy theories, well, obviously you go to Fox. Monica Crowley is going to explain the real reason behind the Fast and the Furious debacle. Watch.
How can you say that the U.S. government ever would have intentionally wanted people killed?
Well, there are some documents that have already been produced that there were discussions in the White House among the president, among the attorney general, that they wanted to seek some sort of pretext to crack down on Second Amendment rights. Now, we haven't seen that evidence yet. It is speculation. But the idea that the administration would not have full knowledge about this, or that the commander in chief, the secretary of state, the Department of Homeland Security, the attorney general would not be aware of this kind of operation, again, across an international border, I think the American people find that very hard to believe.
That's awesome. Okay, so apparently the conspiracy is that we let all the all the guns go and get in the hands of the drug cartel so that we could turn around and say, you see that? We need a crackdown on the Second Amendment. And I guess, what? Yeah. That's what the attorney general would do. They've held him in contempt now. He's in massive political trouble. The administration would cause a giant scandal for itself so that later, if they survive that scandal in their second term, they would do a crackdown on guns because of their own incompetence. Oh, come on. And then, but my favorite part of the clip was, she's like, we already know those documents exist. 2 sentences later, she's like, we haven't seen them. In other words, you don't know if they exist. You haven't seen them at all. In fact, nobody's seen them. I know. There aren't. Look, is it possible that any document exists somewhere in the world? I suppose so. Yeah, it could exist in your mind, but there is no evidence that exists in the Justice Department. Now, Darrell Issa, who's leading the investigation, is apparently somehow believes in this crazy conspiracy theory as well. Let's hear from him.
Here's the real answer as to gun control. We have emails from people involved in this that are talking about using what they're finding here to support the basically assault weapons ban or greater reporting. So chicken or egg? We don't know which came first. We probably never will. We do know that during this this Fast and Furious operation, there were emails in which they're saying we can use this as part of additional reporting or things like assault weapons bans.
Chicken or egg? Well, if you have emails from the Justice Department or the administration saying, hey, let's let the guns go so we can do a crackdown on the Second Amendment, by all means, have at it, Hoss. Let us know. That would be an amazing story. So do you have that connection to the Justice Department or the administration? Let's find out.
Do you have any evidence that White House officials were involved in these decisions, that they knowingly misled Congress and are involved in a cover-up?
No, we don't. And what we're seeking are documents we know to exist February 4th to December that are, in fact, about Brian Terry's murder, who knew, and why people were lying about it, and get to the truth.
Fail. So we know about Brian Terry's killing. Wait a minute, that's not what you said originally about the crazy conspiracy theory on the Second Amendment, et cetera, and the White House is involved, yada, yada, yada. Now, everybody knows that one of our agents got killed by one of those guns. That's why this whole thing was a part of why it was a debacle in the first place. That's not the interesting part. Okay, so when he asked you the question, do you know the White House was involved? No, but we have emails about Brian Terry. But yeah, we already know those emails. They have nothing to do with the first thing. God, they're such awesome liars. Now, there actually is a reason why the Republicans are going after Attorney General Eric Holder for this in particular. Now, is it because they're angry about Fast and Furious? Sure, and I'm sure that they're just as outraged by it as we are. Is it to cause political damage to the Obama administration? Sure, of course that's part of it. Is it also to get their base riled up with these crazy Second Amendment theories? Sure. But the real reason, the predominant reason, is because Eric Holder is the lead guy as the Attorney General on killing the voter suppression efforts that the Republicans have. Because if they can suppress the vote by making sure that minorities can't vote in big batches and that legitimate citizens are not allowed to vote that might vote Democratic, well, then they could win the elections. There's nothing that the Republicans care more about than that. If they take down Eric Holder, well, then who's going to be in their way as they do all these voter ID laws? Now you think, oh, wait a minute, Cenk, is that your own conspiracy theory? Nope. We'll let conservative commentator George Will explain.
Mr. Holder himself has made himself obnoxious to Republicans by saying, unlike the Supreme Court, that photo ID laws constitute voter suppression. That is, if you have to present, when you vote, a photo ID, the way you have to present a photo ID to get into Attorney General Holder's Justice Department.
So in the middle of the Fast and Furious discussion on This Week on ABC, all of a sudden George Will presents the real reason why they're going after Eric Holder. That is a conservative commentator, not a progressive, not a liberal, not a Democrat, saying he has made himself obnoxious by getting in the way of these voter ID laws that we want to pass so we can steal/win those elections. That's what this is about.